Oh yeah, Packcast, yeah.
Oh yeah, Packcast, yeah.
Packcast. Hey yo.
Ooh, I'm excited for this one.
Oh yeah, really?
I am.
Oh, okay. Well,
This is gonna be a short, sweet, and and
mm,
and and just loosey goosey one, you know.
that's right. Hello everyone. It's another beautiful day on the Packcast, and I am your host, Jeremy Van Suarez.
And I'm Jacob Wade.
And I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
And just like my good friend Jacob just said, this is going to be a nice, short and sweet Packcast coming at you from the Black Wolves, boys.
As everyone suddenly looks at their timestamp and realizes it's actually 45 minutes.
Well, we'll see. Let's not jinx it, okay? Let's not.
I feel like there's not much to talk about. The Golden Globes did happen. The Golden Globes happened, and I think it was the best case scenario for what was nominated.
Shall we housekeep before we dive into the Globes?
Yeah, let's housekeep. Housekeeping.
I half expected you to like go all the way across the screen like you were a transition.
I still had to. Okay, I'll do it again. Housekeeping.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun to edit. Housekeeping. I don't believe we've released anything new this week. It's been a lot of promotion of older stuff. Re-promoting Dominique's interview, which was fantastic. People should go check it out. She's a very incredible artist. Very happy for her. We behind the scenes, we've approved a script to move into pre-production. Which we are keeping hush hush about, but know that there are new things moving into the realm of creation. We are beginning putting together everything for season 2 of the acoustic covers. Jacob, you have any little hints you want to say on that?
No hints really. I think we're gonna try to go above and beyond what season 1 was. I think we want to put a little more production value into it, a little more. I'm hoping that season 2 won't just be week after week of me in my bedroom singing alone. But other than that, looking forward to it. And if you're listening to this and you want to be a part of it, just shoot me a message and we will get on that. Because I'd love to collaborate. Yeah, I'd love to collaborate with other artists and, inclusion.
And we're in the process of editing some other projects that are hopefully to be announced very soon.
I feel like we say that every week.
Yeah, I know.
I'm tired of saying hope. I'm just gonna say we should just say we're working on. We have other projects in the works. Period.
That is true. It's the you guys are getting a behind the scenes look of what it's like to really be a production company. We're at the mercy of a lot of other people that are working on a lot of other things and have schedules that are on their own time and
dealing with our own schedules.
In
a pandemic.
There are multiple different projects. Like if you ever look on someone's IMDb and see like that they're producing 73 projects and that all of them are in pre-production or development, that's kind of where we're at right now. It's a lot of stuff that's just like on its own timeline. Some things are waiting for script approval, some things are waiting for edits, some things are waiting for approval on dates and approval on talent and all of that stuff. So we're moving and we're still creating. Just because we're not announcing doesn't mean things aren't happening. Just know that there's a lot of pieces that need to come together in just the right combination. And so we're waiting for some of those last little puzzle pieces to come into place before we make any announcements. Because as many people know from back in the day when we used to do things, Jacob and I used to drop like random announcements once every 2 or 3 months. And we'd always end up having to readjust or change them because things changed. So we're using the podcast kind of as a place to keep you guys posted, to kind of take over that update format, but not feel like we're releasing a video that's like, we're dropping this thing that then doesn't get released. So keep posted, stay on our Instagram and our Facebook, as we always say. Instagram is really the best place to keep updated on what we're doing. Our website is updating pretty often. So if you want to check out our website, go there. We should have some very exciting stuff for you in the near future. I'm not going to say very soon anymore, just in the near future. So look forward to that.
Thank you, Logan.
You're welcome.
All right, boys. Golden Globes. Like I said, I think it was the best case scenario. If you watched our Golden Globe podcast, you know that we were pretty disappointed in everything. But I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Right? Jacob, I'm sure you're gonna be happy about this. Jason Sudeikis won for Ted Lasso.
Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I have to watch
However,
it.
we're kind of upset with best comedy and best drama as well, right?
I'm not upset with best comedy.
I wanna set.
Don't.
Before I add to Jacob's point, I want to set the caveat that everyone who won deserved to win. That
Okay, yeah.
all of them gave the performances or created the projects that deserved the recognition. There's nobody that I think got an award that doesn't deserve it, or I don't want anyone to misinterpret what we're saying about the Globes as us saying like these artists are not deserving of their awards. They all created some pretty incredible projects.
Right.
I think where me and Jacob come from on the drama and comedy category is they picked the two films that kind of strayed away from traditional filmmaking and moved to a more improv story-based rather than script-based. At least for me as a screenwriter, that kind of makes it appear that the Golden Globes don't find screenwriting to be a valuable medium. Now, whether or not that's actually their belief or actually their intention, that's a different conversation. But to reward the two movies that didn't really have fully like developed screenplays and were instead more scenes that were come up with and then kind of let improv by the actors / real people in the stories, paints to me a picture that screenwriting is less than valued by the Golden Globes. Yes, they have the screenwriting category, which is always important. I think Aaron Sorkin definitely deserved to win for Trial of Chicago 7. It was an incredible screenplay. He's a brilliant writer. But that being said, I have my qualms with those two films, which we've talked about.
I have to say, I disagree with that a lot. I would agree with you if this wasn't the first time that this has happened, but this is really the first time that we've had more improv-based scripts involved in these award ceremonies.
Sure.
To say that the Hollywood Foreign Press has a lack of appreciation for like quote unquote proper screenwriting, I think is a bit far-fetched.
Sure.
Especially when the rest of the movies that were nominated are classic screenwriting.
Well,
Mishmash.
Some of them were.
Mishmash. Well, okay. Well, Hamilton is the only one that's really out of the norm here because it's playwriting. Huh?
Music.
Well, music has a script to it. As much as I don't like to acknowledge that film.
Does it?
Yes, music has a script. It might be flavored as a visual album with 20 or so minutes of dance, but there's an actual script that people are ripping apart as it should be. I don't know. I also don't think that just because these scripts have just because these scripts have elements of improv in them that they should be appreciated any less than a piece that is fully written out, page 1 to 180.
I'm not saying they should be appreciated any less. I think they deserve their own recognition in their own category. I think fundamentally filmmaking and a drama, a comedy, and this new art form are fundamentally different things. And so to try and compare the two would be, in my opinion, the same as trying to compare a drama and a comedy. There's a reason that there are two different categories for it in the Hollywood Foreign Press. It's because they identify them as two different art forms. This is a third unique art form that deserves to be identified as its own art form.
But there's not really enough in this new art form to be its own category, really. And then also, I mean, and then you raised the argument of comparing these two formats would kind of be similar to comparing a drama to a comedy. But then if we go by that logic, then we'll be pitting Nomadland up against Borat. And I don't really know if that's any better.
Fair? They both feel like documentary films to me. Not like true documentaries, but like
mockumentaries.
Yeah.
But mockumentaries that have realism in them, like it's such a unique new form that I don't quite know how to categorize it yet, because it's not a mockumentary because it's real, and it's not a documentary because it has character, but it's not a full-fledged screenplay because it's mostly improv.
Like a docu-film.
Yeah, it's a docu-film.
Well, that's what happens when a new genre comes out. Where do you put it?
We have to figure it out. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that Borat won. I was rooting for Borat alongside Palm Springs was my big underdog. I didn't think that Hollywood Foreign Press would give Andy Samberg that amount of recognition, but I'm happy for Borat. I'm happy for Sacha Baron Cohen. He's a great actor, great writer, great improvist. Is that a word? Improvist? Improv person? Improviser. Yeah. More categories that I know that we're happy, especially happy for the winners. Logan, you watched The Crown. The Crown won a few awards.
I used to watch The Crown. I fell off when they did the complete cast change in season 3, because they jumped forward in time. The Crown did win quite a few awards. I think the Hollywood Foreign Press made a statement that I don't know that I agree with.
In the nominations?
In choosing winners. SAG made statements in nominations that I don't know that I agree with. Hollywood Foreign Press made the statement that the only good acting dramatically that's being done on television is on The Crown. And
I don't, but it's not about good. It's about like the best, which doesn't sound any better.
Yeah, that's is exclusively the best performances in drama on TV right now are taking place in The Crown, and I just can't get behind that. Again, I have fallen off the show, so I might turn it on and be like, you know what, guys, I was totally wrong. It's the best acting I've ever seen on TV. But we have shows like Lovecraft Country and Ozark, and just there's so much TV. There's so much TV being made that to give the award to a show that focuses on historical period drama, to me, feels like a return to Downton Abbey. It feels like we miss this period piece British drama and we want it back, so all the awards are going to go to that.
Yeah. What happened to I May Destroy You?
What happened to I May Destroy You?
Michaela Cole. Like
we already know it got snubbed. That's what happened to it.
But there were good people in all those categories. As much as people are memeing him because he fell asleep during the show, Al Pacino gave an amazing performance in Hunters. It is one of the best performances of his whole career. And so the fact that someone kind of new who's playing a kind of historical period piece character wins over him, to me, rubs me a little bit the wrong way. I would like to see a little more divestment in the awarding of shows. I don't think we need to get to a place where it's like only one actor from every show can be nominated, because I think that's going to lead to a problem. But I believe it was my mother, Mama Brunner, came up with the idea that if you win an award in any award show, the next year you should not be eligible for the same character in the same category. That, like, if I win Best Actor for a TV show and the next year nominations come back up, I should not be eligible for that same show because I'm playing the same character that you've already awarded me for. It'll take
you should just be a presenter.
Yeah, it'll take away situations like there were, I think, like 4 or 5 seasons straight that Modern Family was just like the award show darling. It was like every season Modern Family was winning consistently over and over and over again. And I don't want to knock Modern Family. It's good, but let's try and give some attention to some other TV shows doing different things rather than hitting the same show over and over and over
again. I feel that. To the divestment of awards to different shows, especially after consecutive years. I don't know how much I agree with not about actors not getting a twice in a row nomination, because characters can go under incredible changes from season to season. Most of the time it doesn't, but in some occasions it can happen. Yeah, I mean, this is always kind of the thing that we approach with award shows, that it's like, you know, we make you know, our deals and our fusses, and we get upset at them because it's like, you should have given this award to another thing. But at the end of the day, these are really just golden, like, material opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I feel like it should be a little more like quantitative too, right?
I
Like,
think we've quantified it. We've
yeah.
gotten to the point as a society that we've been like, the ones that win the awards are the best. If we were at a point that we were like, oh, the ones that win the awards are cool, but they're not the best movies, that'd be one thing. But consistently, you see in us looking back on films, we go, what was the best picture winner that year? Oh, that was the best movie that year.
We're always on the lookout for that, like, definitive moment of each year.
Right. What is the movie of the year? And the way that we have decided to quantify that is what wins the award. If we get to a point where we say,
well, that's how we decide to qualify that.
true,
But I'm talking about quantity here. Like, I think that we should be choosing these films based on like the majority opinion and not just like,
Well, that's called the People's Choice Award.
yeah, I guess.
That's a whole different thing.
I just feel like
because there are people voting on the Hollywood Foreign Press and all that.
yeah, but for the Golden Globes, like, no one on the board was a person of color. So there's no diversity in the room where they're deciding. So how can there, you know, it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree with that very much.
Yeah.
You know, it's Damn it!
It has a real impact on careers and on the art that continues to get made. And so we have to pay attention to it. Like Jacob said, it's lack of diversity in the room leads to lack of diversity in the choices. And if there's lack of diversity in the choices, then the winners end up being less diverse. And if the winners end up being less diverse, producers are looking at the winners for who they're going to produce next year. And so we just end up making the same stories over and over because people are going, well, that's what wins the award, because that's now the most important thing.
Exactly.
Which is why we have so many superhero movies, is because box office is also a thing. We have a ton of superhero movies and a ton of period piece dramas because those are the things that get capital from box office and awards from award shows. And those have become the two ways that we decide what good and bad movies are. It's the reason there were like 6 Transformers movies. It's because it made money at the box office.
None of them were great.
But they all made their budget and more. And so producers looked at that and said, let's do that again.
But they didn't win awards, did they?
I'm talking about box office in terms of that. Not awards. No, they did not.
People speak with their money, and people nowadays, they speak with their clicks and their views. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like, would The Crown have gotten nominations if nobody watched this season? Like, because that happens, that there are good shows, there are incredible shows every year that people don't watch.
Yeah, I think.
And get forgotten.
The Hollywood foreign press is far more likely to watch a show about the British monarchy than a show about a woman dealing with sexual trauma. Just baseline. And so there should be, it's the reason we need more diversity in the room, like Jacob was saying. It's the reason we need to expand our voting pools and to expand how we look at these award shows. It also means that we need to start looking at which award shows we value higher over others. The Golden Globes have become one of the biggest award shows, which is why we qualify it as something that we need to talk about. No one is sitting here talking about, like, the Critics' Choice Awards, which used to be one of the biggest award shows around, but now I barely hear about it. We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Because
did it happen?
They've released all their nominations, and we skipped over it because it's not one of the big 4. It's not SAG, Golden Globes, Oscars, or Emmys. And those are the 4 that we really pay attention to, because those are the 4 that we, as at least as a culture, have decided are important. And
did you say we as a culture because you don't want to say we as a society?
I did. If that's what we as a culture have decided are important, then we as a culture also have to critique it and realize that If we're going to hold it to a high standard, we need to hold it to a high standard. Maybe if the Golden Globes continues to make decisions that we as a culture disagree with, we should start looking at other award shows that feel like they speak more prominently to us.
Agree.
That's my soapbox.
We pay with our box office and we pay with our clicks, and that's what they pay attention to a lot of the times. Shout out to Mark Ruffalo on I Know This Much Is True. Shout out to Queen's Gambit and Anya Taylor-Joy. Shout out to Daniel Kaluuya for rightly winning for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Woo!
Yeah, Schitt's Creek won for Best Television. Minari won for Best Foreign Language. Schitt's Creek won for Best Comedy Television. And The Crown for drama. Looking really quick through the rest of these winners. Sacha Baron Cohen won for Best Actor in a Musical Comedy Motion Picture.
Chadwick Boseman.
Soul won Best Animated Feature. Chadwick Boseman won for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. Andra Day won for United States versus Billie Holiday, Amazon Prime exclusive. Rosamund Pike won for I Care a Lot, which I've been hearing a lot of great things about.
I've been hearing fantastic things about that movie.
And it's now on Netflix, so you gotta check that out. Chloe Zhao won Best Director for Nomadland. So that's great.
She is, I believe, either the first or the second Asian American woman to win Best Director.
I think it might be the first, actually. Or actually second wouldn't make sense. And Soul won for Best Original Score. Clap, clap, clap. Trent Reznor and John Baptiste.
Baptiste, right. I thought it was John Bellion. I think because people got so mad about John Bellion not being a part of the soundtrack.
Who's John Bellion?
He's a musician who I can't even describe him. He makes really incredible music. I love his work, but he has a very specific vibe that kind of fits with that Pixar world. And so a lot of people have said for a long time that he should do one of their movies. A lot of people felt that he kind of got passed over this year for doing it. Which I agree with. He should be a part of one of their films at some point.
Okay.
Hopefully the Oscars can represent our film culture a bit better than the Golden Globes. Golden Globes have to put their hands in a lot of different hats, you know.
I'm intrigued by the Oscars and the Emmys. I want to see where the cards fall. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. The Oscars do 8 movies normally. They do between 5 and 10. So I'm thinking
Nomadland,
Judas, Five Bloods. This is tough.
Minari, Trial of Chicago 7.
Trial of Chicago 7, The Father.
Promising Young Woman.
I Care a Lot.
I hope One Night in Miami gets a nom.
One Night.
And I think that's it.
We missing some? I feel like we're missing something. I'm just gonna check real quick.
I think that's it. I'm just scrolling through Golden Globe nominations in general. I think that's the list. 8 seems like a great place.
Possibly Mank. Possibly.
Mank. I have nothing against Mank. It's just Mank.
That would be 10, and in my opinion, that would be a solid 10. Unless Borat ends up taking the place of one of those, in which case that would also be a solid 10.
We'll just have to wait and see. And this was a topic that we didn't even prep to talk about. It just came up in the heat of the moment.
Oh, yeah, because it just happened.
Yeah, that's what you, yeah.
Jeremy, what else are we going to have to wait and see about?
That was such
you know, that thing, the Snyder Cut, right? Is that, no, I know we're trying to avoid justice.
Snyder Cut every week. We're not talking
I thought I set up such a good one.
he threw the ball like right to you and you whiffed it.
I didn't have the doc open. I was looking at the list of nominations. Well, listen, I only have so much screen real estate, okay? All right, and you know what else has a limited amount of screen real estate? My damn Nintendo Switch. which is why I need a new Nintendo Switch, which is what's rumored to come out. According to Bloomberg, a new Nintendo Switch is on the way with an OLED screen that's an organic LED display and 4K docked support. Jacob, I know you've been looking for a Switch investment. How do you feel about paying maybe $350, $400 for a new Nintendo Switch? Because it's going to be more than the normal Switch.
I think 400 is pushing it, but that's most likely, right? They're going to be like $399 for the new Switch 2. I'm looking forward to an OLED screen. That's cool. Are they going to make the bezel smaller? Who knows?
I don't hope so.
I hope so, but I doubt it. I feel like it's going to be like pretty much looking like the same console, just, clearer screen, maybe, I don't know, brighter, I don't know.
A little bit sleeker.
Maybe a little sleeker. Yeah, when that OLED screen comes out, you can tell.
Yeah.
I love me an OLED screen.
And it's gonna be really fun to check out the new Pokemon games that have been announced on that OLED speaker. Jeremy, why don't you tell us about those?
Oh, I kind of took that off the dock because we did talk about it last week.
Well, it was on the dock 30 seconds ago.
I knew we talked about it last week.
Well, it must have been more than 30 because I definitely deleted it before the podcast started recording, but we could talk about Pokemon some more.
I didn't play the DS games, so.
What, Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah, no. I didn't have a DS at the time when DSs were cool.
I think right next to close second, tie with Ruby and Sapphire. Diamond and Pearl Gen 4 is probably one of my favorite Pokemon games.
Diamond was the first one that I beat.
Nice.
Yeah. I think same here, actually.
I had Fire Red, but I never beat it.
Same. I was too young to fully to push myself set that midway grind point.
Yeah, I get to a certain point and be like, no, I'm bored. But then I got Diamond and I was like, ooh, I want to play through this whole thing.
Nice.
Elite Four.
I think I beat Ruby in middle school.
Sounds about right.
I have a really kind of messed up story about how I got into Pokemon Sapphire.
You stole your friend's Game Boy Advance cartridge.
All right. Anyway, spoiler alert. Thanks, Jacob.
I was guessing.
No, because I feel like I've definitely told you guys. Okay. Anyway,
dude, I was the same elementary schooler. I was the same guy.
Well, I don't know where I was. It must have been first to third grade, somewhere in that area. And this guy, this little boy was like, hey, look at my Game Boy, look at my Pokemon Sapphire. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And he was like, do you want to, he actually asked, he was like, do you want to try it? And I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And I played some of it and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then we were on the bus back or going somewhere. And I remember just kind of just taking that cartridge and just right out of the Game Boy. I'm taking no pride in talking about this right now. I'm just telling you what happened.
I am extremely prideful, one, that I guessed. Two, I was that same kid, so that's how I got the idea. But I asked to borrow the game and simply never returned it. So
was it one of those the person you borrowed it from just forgot to ask you for it back, or
yeah, forgot to ask me for it back, and yeah, definitely.
You remembered to forget.
Absolutely. Maybe I would mention I don't know. We don't really talk about Game Boy Advance.
I don't see you being the kind of person that if someone was like, "Hey, can I have my game back?" You'd be like, "No." I see you being the kind of person that's like, "He's not gonna ask for the game back." Okay.
No, but if he did ask for the game back, I'd be like, oh, right, I still have that. Got you tomorrow.
And then tomorrow would come.
And he'd forget to ask me.
You little boy who is now a full-grown individual person now, wherever you are, I thank you, because now I'm into Pokemon. I'm sorry I deleted your save file. You had 7 gym badges, and I was like, this game's too complicated. I need to start from the beginning. So I deleted that shit.
When you only had 1 save file? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I still have it though. All this to say is that I'm excited to play the Diamond and Pearl remakes on the Switch. Logan, what starter are you gonna pick?
Oh wow.
We have the water penguin Piplup. We have the fire monkey Chimchar and the cute little grass turtle Turtwig. So pick your poison.
I'm always a fire guy. I've consistently I start with the fire type because I always feel like I'm
Leos.
Yeah, you know it. I like the final evolution of them the best. So yeah, that's probably where I'm gonna go.
Jacob, Piplup, Turtwig, Chimchar.
I think Piplup. I'd choose Piplup, little cutie.
The opposite of your sign. Interesting.
I know. I'm usually like, okay, so I was like a big Mudkip kind of kid.
Fair.
I was also a
Torchic.
Yeah.
That was the same generation.
No. Mudkip was for me, and I was also a Squirtle guy. Loved me a Squirtle. So I don't know. I've never really picked a fire starter, I don't think. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of go for cuteness factor when I'm picking my babies. And I think Piplup's cute.
Nice.
Piplup is adorable. I picked Piplup when I played Diamond and Pearl. Man, I might go for it again. I feel like it's usually a battle between like the water and the fire type for me. Like I don't know what it is about the grass type. It's like Torchic and Mudkip and Trico. It's like Chimchar and Piplup and Turtwig. Like not to like knock Turtwig, like Torterra, the final evolution of Turtwig is awesome.
I will say though, with this new Sword and Shield, I picked the monkey guy in my shield.
The grass type.
Yeah, the grass type. What was his name? It wasn't. He turned into Rillaboom, like a big gorilla.
Yeah.
A drum set. He was cool. But,
turned into Donkey Kong Country.
Pretty much, yeah. That grass type took me far. Yeah. Good games.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know. But I'm even more excited for Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is also
we did.
Yes. I'm really interested in what this gameplay loop is gonna be like, because it's gonna have to be with no cities, with just like big open fields and stuff like that.
That we have seen yet.
I think there will be cities
that we've seen.
Well, the story is that it's like at the beginning of colonialization in the Sinnoh region, and so there's really just this one big town, which is where you're from, and the rest of the Sinnoh region is kind of unexplored. So there could be it's not going to be Metropolis on the scale of any of the Pokemon games that we've ever had, really, where it's like you walk a couple routes, you get to a town, you walk a couple more routes, you get to a town. It's gonna be like you walk for miles and you see nothing.
It's gonna be very Legend of Zelda.
Okay. It's only what we've been asking for since like the GameCube.
Very excited about that.
Took you long enough. Pokemon games, all for it. Just to freshen your gears, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are coming out end of 2021, and Pokemon Legends Arceus are coming out early 2022. But
time to
both of these games are a long way away. I feel like the next big game that's coming out for me personally isn't really coming out until May, so I have a lot of chill time on my hands to play some smaller games.
Yeah.
Some indie games,
Yeah.
There's an indie game sale currently on the PlayStation Network, and I copped a few of them. I got Night in the Woods, which is the only one that I've started so far, and I'll save more talk about that for CWC at the end of this episode. And I also got Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition and Oxenfree. All of them under $20. All of them like 2D narrative adventures. But seeing all these wonderful indie games on sale and knowing that there's a bit of a lull in the AAA development right now, I wanted to talk a bit about indie games and the wondrous memories we have with them. So what are some of your favorite indie games?
I mean, right off the bat, Binding of Isaac. I think if you're looking for a game that does gameplay loop and story correctly, Binding of Isaac has to be one of the top games on the list. It's a game that constantly evolves and constantly becomes new as you advance, and yet is just the same loop over and over. It's just go into dungeon, kill enemies, get pickup, advance. Go into dungeon, kill enemies, get pickup, advance. And yet every ending is there's like 21 endings at this point. You get like a new ending every time you beat it and new bosses every time you beat it. I think it does a really great job of being a super simple independent game that does its job really well and is able to tell a story without needing to do like long drawn out cutscenes. In addition to that, I feel like I've played so many indie games over the years, but they're just
Name one.
right. I always like disappear on them because I'm like, no, that's AAA. Nah, I'd consider that a AAA.
So why don't we give you a little bit of time to think about it? Well,
Right
maybe
ahead.
Jacob tells us about a favorite indie game of his.
Sure. Off the top of my head, I mean, I'm playing Hollow Knight right now. It's going really well. Loving it. I've played Untitled Goose Game for Switch. It's a fun game. It's a fun indie game.
That's also on sale on PlayStation right now.
It is.
Nice. Also, that one for VR made by the Rick and Morty guys was so fun.
Oh, Accounting Plus. Yeah, that was great.
I love
Yeah.
that. And also, I'm gonna stop there. That's I'll those three are my top indie games right now. Super Hot was a lot of fun.
Speaking of Accounting Plus, though, a game that connects to that, which was kind of the inspiration for it to begin with, is the Stanley Parable. I have played
We love the Stanley Parable here.
I've played that game a good 50 times because it's addictive.
It's much like Binding of Isaac. It has a lot of different endings.
Yeah, and
And that gameplay loop is even simpler.
The best indie video games, Journey, Binding, Among Us, Fall Guys, they come up with really, really simple concepts and just execute them to perfection. Stanley Parable is, in my opinion, a perfect game. It nails what it's trying to do. It nails its gameplay mechanic. It's constantly making you think harder and think more advanced. It's great. It's one of those games that I'll show to people who don't necessarily like video games, and I'll just sit them down and say, I'm not going to tell you anything about this game. Just go in blind, play the Stanley Parable.
I really like the Stanley Parable because it's like it really is kind of like human versus machine when you play that game, because you're always trying to stay a step ahead of the game and the narrator, and it's a constant battle, and you only continue to discover that with each ending that you unlock and each playthrough that you go through. I have to echo that Stanley Parable is incredible, and it's also one of my favorite games. And I think I would agree with you on that sentiment that it's a perfect game, honestly. Super Hot is also incredible. The amount of hours that me and my friends have sunken into Super Hot.
I mean, it's the most innovative shooter that I've played in years.
It is the most innovative shooter I've played in years, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I would recommend it to everyone to play this very innovative shooter.
It is the most innovative shooter I have played in years.
No cap. And the VR expansion of it is just as fun, because then you're in the space and you get to like very bullet time, slow motion. You get to dodge bullets with your gun. You get to shoot back at them.
Mwah.
Yeah. Another indie game that I love to the ends of the earth is Transistor by Supergiant Games. They've made Bastion and Hades. Transistor was probably it was their sophomore game, and it's just this really interesting meld of real-time action and also turn-based action at the same time, with this wonderful narrative going on between the main character who has lost her voice, and her sword that can talk. To explain further about who or what the sword is would be a disservice to anyone who hasn't played the story.
Right.
But it's an action game. and it's a dystopian game, and it's a love story, and I've bought that game like several times just because I'm just like, please Supergiant, please keep making incredible games like this.
I think indie games are really where story thrives.
Oh yeah.
We have AAA games like The Last of Us that really give off story, but if you're looking for like people that are specifically focused on story, I think you're looking at indie games. Specifically, the two that I want to shout out, I think one you guys might not consider indie, but I'm going to push for it anyway. I think Journey, which is super indie, no dialogue, tells a very compelling story through just really environmental design and like body language. And Until Dawn. I think some might press that Until Dawn's a AAA game. Yeah, it's still independent.
What about Detroit Become Human? Would that be a...
No.
That's AAA.
It's made by a major company.
Okay.
That's AAA. Well, it's made by Quantic Dream, who is owned by Sony, and
I would not qualify Control or Alan Wake. Well, Alan Wake is kind of an indie game.
No, because that's made by Remedy, and they had made Max Payne before that.
Very true, very true.
What about Beyond Two Souls?
Nope, also Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop.
Who had made Heavy Rain first, which you could qualify Heavy Rain as an indie game, but then their next game was Beyond Two Souls, which kind of got their AAA backing.
Yeah. Is it an indie game when they're owned by Sony?
It's difficult to push for that. I think Until Dawn, the reason that I qualify it as an indie game is because it doesn't feel like, yes, the actors are all like known actors and it's a known property. It's surprising to look at that game and be like, this is Rami Malek before Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it an indie game if Rami Malek's in it?
Yeah, but it was before Mr. Robot. It was before everything.
Yeah.
Mr. Robot was out when that came out.
Was
yeah,
it?
Mr. Robot was definitely out already, but
I thought it had just started.
maybe
Okay.
just started. But also, I feel like that game, I mean, just the engine itself, like it doesn't feel like an indie game.
It does not feel like an indie game, no, which is why I think it's so impressive.
Okay.
I'm looking up.
Mr. Robot had just begun when it was season 1 when Until Dawn came out. So
Okay, so which means
the star of that game was Hayden Panettiere, which is like, all right, that's cool.
It was in Heroes.
Heroes, Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, I would posit that in terms of doing something unique and something new that I hadn't seen done in gaming before, in Until Dawn and Life is Strange both do really unique things. Life is Strange has some problems with its second season, specifically being that it was being made during the voice actors strike. For anyone who is unaware, there was a period where voice actors weren't really being well compensated or well protected. They were going into booths and doing like 9-hour recording sessions with no breaks and having to do really intense scenes with really no protections. And so they went on strike for a little while. Life is Strange 2 got made during that period and decided to go forward without its original voice cast. Whether or not you agree with that decision is up to you. Personally, I don't. But that's Life is Strange 2. Life is Strange 1 has some really incredible voice acting, some really incredible talent. I have consistently not been able to finish that game because it emotionally affects me so much. I get to the end of like chapter 2 and I'm just like, I'm spent.
Yeah, I think that's where you stopped.
I'm out of
Episode 2.
I can't keep pushing through this.
Damn.
It's just rough. So yeah, both of those are really great.
Hey, shall we do
No.
some CWC?
Yes.
Now,
Content.
talking about a bunch of content we've consumed in the past, we can talk about content we're consuming in the present.
Yay!
Holla. I'll start just because it's not a lot. Like I said, I started Night in the Woods. Indie game, 2D side-scrolling narrative with some light puzzle and platforming elements. You play this very cute little cat named May, who is a 20-year-old college sophomore dropout who returns home and just has to deal with her town changing, her friends changing. It's a cute looking game, but it deals with some dark subject matter. I was playing with Logan and I was like speaking out the dialogue and I was like, yeah, oh. And I'm just like, I don't want to say this next part out loud. This is sad. But it's a great game so far. I'm just gonna like, that's just gonna be my game like for today. I'm just gonna like not rush through it, but I just want to like experience and like bathe in this world right now. I started watching Demon Slayer, which is another great shonen anime with a whiny protagonist, but beautiful animation and action and great voice acting.
Seems like a theme.
Yeah, it is. It's a theme. But you know, life is a theme, one could argue.
Your protagonist needs somewhere to go.
Exactly. We need character development. And WandaVision finale is today, a few days ago when you're watching this, but today is Friday, March 5th, and WandaVision finale is happening. And even though I muted every WandaVision word possible on my Twitter timeline, I still ended up seeing tweets about it. So Twitter, do better, Twitter.
Come on, Twitter.
I mean, that's really it. I haven't consumed. Oh, I mean, I watched Justice League yesterday, and it wasn't terrible. And I watched Batman versus Superman, and it wasn't horrible. So yeah, all in prep for the Snyder Cut.
Awesome. I'll go next, I guess. I've got nothing new to update you with movies, really. TV, I watched the Cecil Hotel thing on Netflix about Elisa Lam. It's like a mystery that was never really solved, but watch it. It's kind of creepy. And on the music side, Justin Bieber released another single today.
There's some new music out.
A lot more pop than R&B for someone who's really trying to be respected as an R&B artist, especially so there's like a huge build in this single, this new one I think it's called Hold On, and then the chorus is just like 100% pop. You'll see what I mean.
We talking like Yummy vibes?
No. Not
thank God.
Not this whole album Justice that he's promoting coming out soon seems like it's like a kind of like a Christian pop, like I've had hard times in my past, but in my
Why is this literally Atlanta? Yeah. Why is this literally a skit from Donald Glover's Atlanta?
Dude, literally, because in Donald Glover's Atlanta, Black Justin Bieber, his album is called Justice. As a joke, guys.
And he's like, yeah, I used to have hard times, but now I'm a born again man.
Literally what's going on.
Donald Glover knows something that we don't know, which is not a surprise.
Donald Glover's ahead of us.
Another thing in the music world that I listened to was the first single off of this new Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars album.
Oh, it's so sexy.
It's a sexy. It's got like Barry White vibes. It's called Leave the Door Open. Check it out. Yeah.
I'm gonna walk right in.
Yeah, I'm hearing like late 70s, early 80s like soul in these guys, and it's
so good.
It's a sexy song. Check it out. I'm passing the mic to Logan. What's up?
Not a ton new. Went back to Spider-Man Miles Morales because I took a break from that for a little while. Very fun. Love the story of that game. I think it's a great game.
It's so good.
Still playing Assassin's Creed Unity, still playing Apex, still playing Binding of Isaac. Jacob and I watched Guns Akimbo, which was a really fun, kind of silly time. Samira Wiley and Daniel Radcliffe are both really fun in that movie. I can't imagine how much of a blast they had filming it. I just finished Hunters, which I would strongly recommend to anybody. It's intense, so be warned going in. Other than that, I'm not really watching much new. WandaVision finale tonight. Very excited about that. Dickinson's finale was last week, so a bunch of my stuff is like coming to a close.
RuPaul Snatch Game is tonight.
Hey, I'll probably watch that this weekend.
Now, I have a quick question. Do they address how Daniel's character in Guns Akimbo uses the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I needed. Okay, great. That's all I needed to know.
They don't just explain; they show.
There's a shot.
It was hilarious. I was cracking up.
Well, I hope that's a reality that none of us ever have to deal with.
You you'd die. Like
What, guns for hands?
guns like nailed into your hands with like no anesthetic.
Ooh.
You're dead.
You're gangrenous.
Like he
Ugh.
looks at his hands and there's like nails, like full. You're building a set and need to make sure these like 4 platforms stay together. Nails.
Yeah, because that's what nails are for, building sets.
I mean, hey, listen. I had to describe the type of nail. Okay, we're not talking.
Right.
We're not
I had
talking
to paint a
this.
picture for
We're
our
this.
viewers.
We're
You all
talking about
know those nails
this.
that we use to build sets. Yeah, they're big.
You know,
They're big.
the big old nails.
Big old nails through the
You
hand.
know, make sure you drink your lemon to keep the gangrene and scurvy away. That's not how this works. I'm Jeremy Van Suarez,
I'm Jacob Wade.
I guess it's Logan Riley Bruner.
and take care of yourselves. Damn it, we love you. Mwah.
Build the set.
Build that set.